Alright peeps, I'm going to show a thing, one of my biggest gripes I have with my Riker, which I love it to death. As you can see, this is coming from a Busa rider, and I love the Riker. The reason why I bought it was not for me to ride all the time, and you can see from the bugs, this thing has been getting some mileage. But if I'm going out with the crew, I'm riding this. I'm riding my Busa because this is limited. This is the 900. It's limited to 100 miles per hour. It's not really made to keep up with sport bikes in a sense, but it's a hoot to ride. I love to ride it. It's fun on curves, but I bought it so if family wanted to ride with me, then they can. So, but I had to modify. I'm 6'3", so I'm a tall dude. So for one, the mirrors suck. I put these ones on, but then I have them here as a backup just in case, you know, somebody wants to fold them out. And then that way they could have a second pair, you know, for blind spots. But I took off the factory ones. They're in the toolbox somewhere. And then I popped these on. And they're on Amazon for like 20, 30 bucks. But these ones here, I think I bought these off of Amazon too. Probably another 15 bucks or so. But for right now, I just have them up and out of the way. But the biggest thing that I had a problem with when riding this on the highway, as you can see, are the highway pegs. You can't find highway pegs on here except going through like Le Monster Garage. And what you have to do is you have to change out the footboards and put these flat footboards. And then you can add another foot peg on it to where it'll have your foot out here. And they're not going to work for me because, as you can see, when I sit on this bike, let me back this up some. If I need to stretch out, my leg is way out here by the wheels. So having a foot peg here, my leg is still bent, can't stretch out. So I got this idea to do pegs like these from drift trikes. Because I'm like, you can get a drift trike, take it around the road and whatnot, and the pegs, the pipes will hold up a grown person's legs pretty easily. So my first iteration for trying to make my own highway pegs was I went to Lowe's, found some pipes. This is a real thin pipe, as you can see. Really thin pipe, and then it's got a brass pipe here, which you can't see really because I painted over them, hit them with some primer and whatnot. But what happened is you can barely see here is like right there on this one, let me move my finger, is the pipes are very, very thin. And you can see I drilled it wrong. Right there is a better example. It's starting to stretch, and it was stretching with just me putting my legs on it. So if this thing actually took some highway weight, it's so thin, I was afraid these would just snap and break. But what I did was I put them on, and as you can see, they matched up great. Drilled a couple of holes there, and I was like, okay, this will work. I just need some thicker piping. So I went to Home Depot, and I mean, these pipes, which I have the bags for them here if you kind of want to have an idea. Forgive me, this is kind of like my first instructional video here, but if that'll come into focus, maybe not. But either way, it's just some piping. There we go. So yeah, 1/2-inch pipe. You know, I bought enough to where, and the 90-degree fittings to bring them in together. So there's one pipe here that I think is 3, 6, and 2, something like that. I have them right here. Let me read it off. So the longest one, is 8. So the long one is 8 inches. And then we have 6 inches. And then that's going to be another 8 inches. I have end caps I haven't put on yet, because I'm going to try and find some rubber to go on the end as well. So let's see here. 5. So let me bring these here. So we have 1/2 inch pipe, and then we have 5 inches here, fits perfectly, comes from about here to here. Screw them in, 1/2 inch pipe, 8 inch pipe, 6 inch pipe. And I drilled some holes. I first did 2, but then I was like, let me make it a little bit more sturdy, that you can find some really decent screws that'll go in. But I drilled 3 here just to make sure it secures the pipe very well to this. Once I tighten these with a pipe wrench, you know, you tighten this on first, get it on nice and tight, then tighten that one, tighten this one, and then you'll really have to make sure that when you tighten this, you get it to where it's facing the right direction, so it's a good balance. And then I just drilled holes here. Now to drill holes into this, plus this pipe, you can use regular titanium bits like these, but as you can see, I broke one, and I broke this one when I started trying to drill into these. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work on this. So just get yourself a cobalt drill bit. This was like $4 at Home Depot. Not hard to obtain. It cut through this like butter. And then you just try and drill it closely enough. The way I figured out how far in these pipes were going to know if I'm catching the pipes is simple. You just take this, you know, simple tape or measurement like this, you know, you do that, and then you can go here, and then you can see exactly how deep in it is, and then you know you're catching, because all you want is to make sure this doesn't back out. That's it. Like I said, proof of concept the other day when I did the first mocks, which sorry is right here, and then it's just trial and error. I used these screws first, which are these, but they were too thin, so they started snapping. So I went with a thicker screw, which, give me a second, it's still on the ground here. So I bought a bunch of these, and these aren't strong enough. They will bend under the pressure of your leg. So I went with a thicker bolt, which is here. Not much thicker, but enough. And I'm not sure where the paper is for what size it is. But either way, definitely, I bought the bolts all at Lowe's. I want to say they are a number 10 either way. Or, yeah, here they are. They're 10 by 24. But they are 1.5 inches, just like these. So, same length, just a little bit thicker, so 1.5 inches. So 10 by 24 by 1.5 inches length is what I used. And then, of course, I got the washers. I bought some lock washers and flat washers. The lock washers go up top here. So the lock washers are up here, and then I put the flat washers underneath. So same here, you can see a lock washer there and there, and then I have lock washers underneath as well for these, just so they'll try and help catch them. But the reason why I'm making this video, as you can see, and it's clean, it barely comes out past the wheel, so I don't really have to worry about snagging anything. And then once I put the cap in on the end here, I really won't have to worry about anything really getting in it. But I rode it, like I said, I rode it the other day, and you know, straight spread eagled on them, you know, and it works. The mirrors are a whole lot better, because I'm not looking over here to see what's behind me. Back this up. You can see directly behind you using these. I don't know why Can Am didn't come with mirrors like these in the first place. But it works. But as you can see, that's going to be a good view. Boom, you're on the highway. You just spread out. Now I'm leaned back. All I got to do is have my hands on the throttle, and I'm rolling. And this is how you want to be on the highway. Or else you're sitting straight up and down, and every bump is just going right up your back. So no, on the highway, I'm trying to chill. And you can see the play. Let me see if I can get the play in here. So that's probably my biggest concern that I'm watching. So I'm not going to take any major road trips. But when you put your foot on it, it drops just a little bit. But it does it for both. And it's dropping because it's twisting here. This is super thin comparatively. I'm horrible at camera angles. But this is not the thickest. Also, another thing, with the Le Monster footboards and highway pegs, you can't do this. You can't lift it and move your stuff back and forwards. But you can with these. And it's 30 bucks compared to $300. I don't know about y'all, but I got 30 bucks on hand more than I have $300. Especially since, you know, in the city, you'll be riding like this. But once you're on the highway, you're trying to stretch out a little bit. And this doesn't affect the wheels. As you can see, wheels don't touch my feet at all. There's a little bit of hip room, but what I noticed when I turn, my heel will drag a little bit. So you just lift your foot up